there's a deeper battle going on between America right now, and the news will tell you that, Trump is the worst thing ever, whatever, and, he's so terrible, and that everybody else is such a good person, and we got to get rid of him, and if Trump's gone, the whole world's going to be rainbows and sunshine or something. I don't know. I tune them out now because they're so fake and they're so negative. I don't live in their reality, and every time I log into social media and I watch TV, they try to drag me into their ugly reality. It's like these are the most nasty, negative, vile people on the planet. And I mean, I don't mean that. I know they're good people, but it's like their mindset is just disgusting and disturbing, and I don't have the time or energy to be pulled into that disgusting world where I hate myself, I hate my country, I hate the world, I hate everybody. I don't like that. So beyond politics or below the political arguments, you have, conservatives and liberals, they fight all the time. They fight on Twitter, they fight on TV, whatever. That's great, that's fine. But there's a bigger mindset battle going on, and I really, really hope that these hater type people really wake up, because they're doing a huge disservice to themselves. They're doing a huge disservice to the Democratic Party. Every single day I walk up to people who are liberal or progressive or have been even socialist, people who believe in socialism. They don't even like the modern day left and Democratic Party, because their mindset is just so backwards and so disgusting. And like I said, I don't pick sides, but I go where the healthy mind is. I go where the good spirit is and the good energy and the good people are. That's always going to be my tribe. They say your vibe attracts your tribe. And my vibe is good energy. My vibe is, positivity and love and happiness and appreciation and gratefulness and having fun. I'm a fun person too. I'm not just lame, and, I don't just meditate. Although there's nothing wrong with that, but, I'm multifaceted. I do a lot of stuff. But my vibe attracts my tribe, and my vibe will never attract the modern day left, or whatever they call themselves now, the ultra feminists and the ultra anti-Trump conservative or Democrat movement, and the I would say the celebrities and the late night hosts, because their vibe just doesn't match with mine, and their mindset just doesn't match with mine. Because at the core of my mindset, I say it all the time, and apparently what I'm about to say is so bad that it got me kicked out of full screen, and I'm such a crazy person that I can't make ad revenue on YouTube anymore. But my overall, the core of what I believe in and the core of what I try to attract is self-awareness. Know yourself. At the bottom of the day, everybody, I tell people, I told the kids, I had a speech the other day where I just told them, try to be open-minded and love and stuff, but you have to know yourself. Everybody's going to try to tell you who you are. Your friends are going to try to tell you who you are. Your family's going to try to tell you who you are. Society's going to try to tell you who you are. Social media is going to try to tell you who you are. Every time you turn on the news, they're going to try to tell you who you are based on your race, your religion, your gender, or wherever you're from. You have to know yourself. So at the core of my mindset is self-awareness. I know myself. I appreciate myself, and no one can really tell me more about myself than I already know. Nobody knows you more than you know you. You wake up every day in your body, unless you're some sort of magician or something. Maybe you don't. Maybe you transcend and have lucid dreams and float out of your body. If that's the case, much love and respect to you. I'm sure it does happen to some people. But overall, nobody knows you like you know yourself. So self-awareness is so key, because at every turn of the way, people try to project who they are onto you. It happens all of the time, and there's a quote that goes around that I think is very true. It says, people can only meet you as deeply as you've already met yourself. So you can't expect somebody who isn't honest with themselves, and somebody that doesn't know themselves, you can't expect them to know you, and that's fine as long as you know you. So this is my mindset. Self-awareness, I mean, that's the major one. Know yourself. Self-love, self-appreciation, because it's hard to love and appreciate other things if you don't, be nice to yourself. We're not perfect. We make mistakes. But, forgive yourself, love yourself, and try to do what you can. I mean, I think you need to really appreciate yourself before other people appreciate you, or before you can appreciate to others. Common sense is very, very big with me, and self-accountability and self-responsibility. I say all of these things because it's just very true. You know, of course the world is going to throw things your way. Of course there's inequality. Of course there's negative people. Of course there's injustices. I'm not saying these things don't exist, and I'm not concerned about it. But at the end of the day, you can control yourself, and if you have common sense and self-accountability, life will get a lot easier, okay? You know, you determine other people as well. It's not just everything that happens is everyone else's fault and there's nothing I can do. It's just not true. Your energy and your self-awareness attracts the people that come into your life. So if you have no common sense, and this is honestly, like I said, I don't like to pick sides, but one thing that I've noticed, especially with the liberal left or the anti-Trump movement and all these like late night hosts and the celebrities and the activist groups, you know, I'm a lifelong activist. I'm not hating on activism. I love activism, but I'm talking about third wave feminism and third wave racial activism, not real racial activism, and there still are them out there, but the third wave, they have zero common sense, they have zero self-awareness, and they have zero self-responsibility. So they walk through life and bad things happen to them because they're not good people. They have no self-accountability. They attract all of these ugly, disgusting stuff because that's the energy that they put out there all the time. And then they wonder, I wonder why I keep finding this stuff, because you're looking for it. You know, if you look for something, you'll find it, especially with the internet and social media. If you want to look at cat pictures all day or dog pictures, there's billions of cat and dog pictures in the internet. If that's how you want to spend the rest of your life, you might die because you don't eat or drink or you can't pay rent or something. I'm not saying to do this, but if you wanted to, you could look at a new cat picture every hour for the rest of your life. Whether you have 50 or 60 or 70 years left to live, you could do that. If you want to look at the blessings and you want to look at nature and you want to look at beautiful things every hour for the rest of your life, you can do that. If you want to pick out the negative, terrible parts of the world and the negative parts of America, you can do that as well. So that's the reality that they paint, and they think they're doing somebody some sort of justice or service because they attract those type of people. And this is the mindset battle going on beyond the Trump presidency and beyond the anti-Trump movement. I'm not concerned with just President Trump. I'm not concerned with who hates him or who loves him. I'm more concerned with the mindset and the culture in America. And our culture is, I think it's fine for now, but there's people who are trying to make our culture ugly, and they're trying to make all the kids and all the people have no self-awareness and no self-accountability. And for some reason, they think that they're like these ultra great people, even though they're like a stain on the healthiness of our society. And that is the mindset battle that is going on beneath the cracks. I'll give you one example that happened recently, and there's an example every single day. I say all the time on this platform, because I mean it. I don't care if you like President Trump and you love President Trump. I understand why. There's a lot to love that the media doesn't cover. I say it all the time. He's not PC. You know, he's destroying the mainstream media. He's stirring up the intelligence communities. He has foreign policy that differs from, George Bush and Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. There's lower taxes if you like lower taxes and, less regulations. There's a million reasons to love President Trump. If you love President Trump, there's nothing wrong with that, regardless of what celebrities say with their twisted, skewed mindset, regardless of what the news said with their twisted, skewed mindset, regardless of what these phony pundits say who really hate themselves and have no self-awareness. It's okay to love President Trump. I get why. If you hate President Trump, I understand why as well. There's many reasons I see that you might not like President Trump. I get it. I get all those reasons. I don't care if you love or hate President Trump. That's totally fine. But at the core of it, President Trump is responsible for himself. You are responsible for yourself, regardless of what President Trump's doing, regardless of what Barack Obama's doing, regardless of what Hillary Clinton's doing. You have self-accountability and self-responsibility for yourself as well. So if I don't like Barack Obama, or I don't like Hillary Clinton, or I don't like Donald Trump, there's still like, am I going to tell the truth about things? Am I just going to cry and complain about everything? Am I going to lie about stuff because I hate them? That's your decision. You know, I have my decision to report my news. You have your decision to interpret and try to skew through everything yourself. And what the news does, what Democrats do, what anti-Trump people do, what the New York Times does and Washington Post does and CNN does and AP does and Reuters do and, you know, all of these pundits do is they just oppose everything that President Trump does. And what they're not realizing is President Trump, among all his very obvious flaws, is actually like pretty healthy when it comes to mindset wise. He's strong, he's very loving at the core of all the negativity and stuff. So if you oppose everything that he does and everything that conservatives do, you're going to end up being wrong a lot of the time. Are conservatives perfect or is Trump perfect? No, I'm not saying that they're perfect, but if all you're trying to do is oppose, you're going to end up spreading a very negative mindset. And look what they've done yesterday. I mean, President Trump, just to give you an example, and I don't care what you think, I just hope that you have the ability to think for yourself. President Trump said that MS-13, you know, a gang, they're criminals, and he said that they're animals, he said they're animals. You know, there's reports, and I don't know every person that's a part of that gang personally, so I'm not going to speak on that, but there's, you know, there's reports of them, like, ripping out people's hearts and literally just, like, you know, chopping off people's limbs. So, you know, to call them animals, it's just a word. It's not that big of a deal. I call myself an animal sometimes. If I'm playing soccer and basketball and I do really good, I say I'm an animal. You know, if I eat a lot of food, I say I'm an animal. If I'm doing something with someone else and it's, you know, wild, I say I am an animal. I'm like, I could go crawl right now. It's like, it's not a big deal to me. Call me an animal. I don't care. Sometimes people say, anomaly, you look like Tarzan, or you look like, you know, the white / you know, a little darker or, you know, light-skinned version of Drake. Like, people call, someone yesterday in Arizona said I looked like Cat Stevens. Like, okay, I'm Cat Stevens, I'm Drake, I look like Tarzan and Jesus combined. Like, whatever, I'm an animal. You could call me an animal. Oh, you have big ears, anomaly, you look like a monkey sometimes. Like, okay, I'm a monkey, I'm an animal, who cares? Like, it's not a big deal, but especially, like, a gang that rips people's hearts out, I don't think it's like a huge deal that he calls them animals. So what does the mainstream media do? They're aligning with these people. They're aligning with terrorist organizations. They're aligning with people who rip other people's hearts out. They're aligning with some of the worst people in the world just for the sake of opposing President Trump. So it's like there's a mindset battle at the core of all of this politics going on, and the Democrats and the anti-Trump movement's mindset is leading so many good people and peace-loving people and hippies and yoga teachers and all working class people and, you know, Latinos and African Americans and white people and Asians and Indians and Hindus, and, you know, it's leading millions of people away from the Democratic Party. They're scaring millions of people from watching their television networks because they have such a negative, terrible mindset. I meet people all the time, black, Indian, it doesn't matter. Everybody's telling me I'm not liberal anymore. I'm not leftist. I don't associate with this stuff. Like, I'm not this person. I can't be around that energy. And that's what's going on. But like, they'll do anything. They'll support terrorist organizations. They'll call good people terrorists. So it's like, what I see is, nowadays at least, it's not, I don't think it's always been like this, but President Trump threw such a corkscrew in politics. He's a totally unique person. I mean, we've never seen anything like it, for the better or the worse, regardless of your perspective. There's never been anything like President Trump. So now modern day conservatives and Republicans, they're thinking differently. To be honest, my analysis of meeting all of these people is the right wing has moved towards the center. You know, I speak what I'm speaking right now. I speak love and self-awareness and positivity. And who shows me the most love and the most support? It's libertarians. It's conservatives. It's independents. You know what I'm saying? In some cases, it's like the progressive left. But liberals hate what I'm saying. Why do they hate what I'm saying? Is it the politics? No, half the time I don't even talk about politics. Modern day liberals, or I call them media-induced zombies, because they literally hate President Trump so much, they're willing to do anything. They'll jump off a bridge. They don't like water. They love terrorists. They love gangs. They love anybody but President Trump. So it's like they're running good people away. The right wing is moving towards the center. They don't care if you're gay. If you're Milo Yiannopoulos and you're gay and you're Jewish, and they don't care. They're like, as long as you're not a complete moron, I'm with you. The right wing has moved towards the center. They say anomaly. I don't care that you look like a hippie or Tarzan hipster, whatever, Jesus-looking guy. I don't care that, you used to be, liberal-minded and used to be indoctrinated in the school system and, you used to think that, Sean Hannity and Fox News were terrible. I don't care, anomaly. We love you because you speak the truth and you're honest and you have common sense and you're just a good person. I find that the anti-Trump movement, beyond, of course you could talk about what Trump's doing and what they're doing, but at the core of their spirituality, at the core of their mindset, it's like the anti-movement, they hate good people. They hate Americans. They hate me. They hate everything good, and they love everything bad. And I know that's not their intention. I know that these are good people that are just so brainwashed and indoctrinated and filled with fake news and hate and liberal teachers who have brainwashed them and all these stuff. I know that these are good people. I'm not saying that, oh my God, if you don't agree with me, you're a horrible person. But it just seems like they're willing to do anything in the world to oppose President Trump. If President Trump likes water, they hate water. If President Trump doesn't like gang members who rip out people's hearts, they love gang members and rip out people's hearts. If President Trump doesn't like terrorist organizations, they love terrorist organizations. If President Trump likes self-accountability, they hate self-accountability. If President Trump wants to make more jobs, they say, who cares about jobs? If President Trump wants to give $1,000 back to working class people, they say, oh, that's just crumbs. I mean, I take a lot of, rides around the city and I talk to a lot of people and they tell me, anomaly, I've been a lifelong liberal. I've been a lifelong Democrat. I don't even like President Trump, but it hurt my feelings when Nancy Pelosi and these Democrat politicians say, oh, those are just scraps. Like, these are working class people who can't even live anymore because America has just burdened them with taxes and debt and healthcare and all of these things that they can't afford. And then you have Democrat politicians, just for the sake of opposing President Trump, they say, oh, those are just scraps. $1,000 is just scraps? Then give it to me. Give it to the people who watch my channel, because $1,000 is not scraps to us. We're working hard, and we could barely pay rent. In my case, I don't even health care I could barely even afford. So they just don't care. At the core of it, if you're a good person that has self-accountability, and I'm not getting political. To be honest, I don't care about politics. I don't care if there's a D next to your name or an R, or you're wearing blue or you're wearing red, or you're Latino or you're black or you're white or you're Muslim or you're Christian or you're Jewish. I don't care. I want to be around good people. I want to be around people with a healthy mindset. And it seems like if you're a good person who loves God or loves yourself, even if you're not religious, you love your family, you love your country, you want to make the world a better place, and you have self-accountability and you're hardworking, modern day Democrats hate you. Okay, Jimmy Kimmel hates you. Stephen Colbert hates you. The media hates you. New York Times hates you. Reuters and AP, they hate you. Democrat politicians all over the world, they hate you. And if you're like a hardworking person who loves everything and like has these things, they hate you. And if you're like a bad person, as long as you hate Trump, they love you. It doesn't matter if you're in the world's most violent gang. It doesn't matter if you're a terrorist organization. It doesn't matter if you have no self-accountability and no self-responsibility and you're out trying to destroy people's lives. They will love you as long as you hate President Trump. But the second you're a black man or a black woman like Kanye West or Diamond and Silk, who doesn't agree with their really stupid, honestly, mindset and their very negative and toxic behavior, look how they treat us. Look how they treat you. They say, oh, you're a crazy person, or oh, you're a threat to the Facebook community. God forbid you have two funny, strong, intelligent black women who are, just telling the news more entertaining than all of the people on television. You're a threat now because you don't fall into our negative victim mentality, like horrible mindset. And it's just so toxic. They're telling the girls, they're telling the third wave feminists to hate themselves. If you're a woman, you have a power beyond belief. If you are a woman, you exert a special, unique type of ability that no man can ever have. Love yourself. Love the gender that you are if you're a woman. Appreciate what you have. Women are so powerful beyond belief. They have powers that I couldn't even dream of having. I could dream, but I can't get them. So what does the news do? They don't tell women that. they're trying to like make women hate themselves. They're trying to make women hate their powers. They're trying to make women hate men. They're trying to make women hate our freedoms and align with the people with an ideology who hate women. So they've convinced our women to shave off your hair. And I don't care if you shave your hair. I still think you look beautiful. I think it's cool and trendy. I'm not knocking it, but it's like shave off your hair. Hate yourself. Protect ideologies that hate you and want to enslave you and make you, you know, do all these terrible things. Those are your allies. And all of these nice people in America who love you and want to give you all these jobs and opportunities, those are your enemies. So it's like women are a mess and depression's on the rise. I wonder why. Not really. It's because Democrats and the media and politicians and the late night hosts, they hate spirituality. They hate optimism. They hate God, which is fine. You don't have to be religious, but they hate God and they hate religious people. I don't. I love all people. They hate families. They hate like traditional, just like natural order of society and the natural order of life. You know, why are people in other countries happier? Why do you go to the Philippines and all the girls are nicer and everybody's happier? It's because they love their country. They love, you know, themselves. They love their family, and that's like the natural order of it. Here, they're influencing people via social media to hate themselves, to hate their family, to hate self-accountability, to hate self-responsibility, to think that nothing that they do matters and they're always the victim and they can run at police officers with knives and put their kids in front of themselves and run up to a militarized border, get their kids murdered, and it's your fault. It's like, oh, you're so terrible, Anomaly, for telling people not to put their kids at a militarized border and like hold them out in front of you when you know there's people with sniper rifles. How am I a terrible thing? I'm not even telling you about the conflict. I'm not saying it's this side's fault or this side's fault. I'm telling people not to run at police officers with knives and not to run at a fully equipped army with children with. I mean, is that not basic common sense? Is that what got me kicked off of YouTube because I told people not to get their kids murdered? I mean, this is the world that we live in. And it's beyond politics at this point. If you have a healthy mindset, if you have a happy mindset, if you have a power mindset and you have a victor mentality over a victim mentality, the modern day anti-Trump movement hates you. They hate good people. I mean, it's like they hate good people and they love terrible people. And there's so many people that I meet that say, I'm not even a big fan of Trump. You know what I'm saying? I don't agree with this policy. I don't agree with that policy, but I'm deathly afraid of the left and I'm embarrassed. I'm no longer a leftist. I'm no longer a liberal. I'm no longer a progressive because I'm disgusted and embarrassed by their behavior. I mean, everybody I talk to says that, and they're black, they're Indian, they're Spanish, and it's beyond politics. I mean, it doesn't matter what policies that you believe in. At a certain point it does, but there's a mindset battle going on, and there's nothing that the media hates more than a healthy perspective. There's nothing that the media hates more than somebody that has self-awareness and self-accountability. They hate it. And all that they do is give power and give promotion to people that have no self-accountability, have no self-awareness, have no love, have no positivity, have no optimism, and have no common sense. They promote those type of people. This includes Twitter, Facebook, Google, YouTube, all of the partner platforms, the New York Times, the Washington Post, CNN, MSNBC, even AP and Reuters. They promote people with this terrible, toxic, negative, unhealthy mindset, and God forbid you're like Kanye West, or God forbid you're someone like myself, or God forbid you're someone like Candace Owens who wants to save black lives. You know, they say Black Lives Matter, but when Candace Owens talks about 93% of the lives, all of a sudden they hate her. Why? Because they don't actually care about black lives. They're complete phonies. I care about the kids. I care about the kids in the cities. That's why I speak the truth. But God forbid you speak the truth and actually try to save a life. They hate you. They hate people with a good mindset. They hate people that are grateful. They hate people that love America. And we don't even know how good they are. Somebody called in. I was in Arizona yesterday. I was right by the border. I was right by the border wall. An amazing town. I was in Yuma. Really great people. Really good energy there. Very safe place. And, I spoke to somebody there who worked for the school I worked at. And he works for a prison. Okay? And this is something you'll never hear on liberal media. You'll probably never hear it on Fox News either. You'll never hear it anywhere. There are people from India who are, because here, I say all the time, we have clean sanitation and clean water. That's something that billions of people don't have. There's over a billion people in the world that don't have clean sanitation. They don't want you to know that here, because God forbid you're happy and healthy and you appreciate America. Then how are they going to get you to vote for them and ruin America more? So there's people from India who are escaping poverty, who are escaping persecution, who are escaping religious extremists, and who are escaping a corrupt government and just straight no economy. They come to America and they actually pay America to live in jail. That's how good we have it, folks. And I'm not saying jail is good, but they get special amenities. They don't get treated like prisoners. You know, they treat the Indians better. But people from India pay America to come to America to live in a jail. I mean, this is how good we have it, folks. There's people from other countries who pay to come live in our jails. And I'm not saying jail's good. They get more amenities. Like I said, they don't get treated like prisoners. Don't skew my words or twist what I'm saying. That's how good we have it. People from other countries pay to live in our jails. And he said, I couldn't believe it, but that's the truth. I worked at a jail for years and I saw that. So they're not going to tell the kids that. They're not going to tell the black community here that. They're not going to tell the Latino community that. They're certainly not going to tell the white liberal kids and the upper class, like $100,000 a year kids who hate themselves and hate their gender and hate their country. And, you know, they live their lives like extremely privileged, but they just hate everything. They don't want you to know this stuff, because then you might have a little bit of pride for your country. You might say, yeah, we do have things to work on. We do have corrupt politicians. There are some police officers that are corrupt. There is some inequalities, but you know what? Overall, I love my country. I don't have an ounce of this negative mindset that they have that they want to push onto me. My grandparents moved from other countries, came to America for a better life. They worked in factories, and and my parents still work hard to this day, work 40, 50 an hour weeks, both, you know, at their age, work very, very hard. And I'm supposed to sit here and complain on Twitter and complain on social media and march in the streets when I just went to a $200,000, you know, 4-year school, and I have like an allowance, and daddy and mommy pay for my car and pay for my rent, and I'm such a feminist. I mean, it's a joke. These activists are a joke. Martin Luther King and Booker T. Washington and Malcolm X, and I mean, you know, back to like Nat Turner and Harriet Tubman, they would be disgusted and disturbed by the activism that we have, because a lot of the negativity that we have in this country, not all of it, some of it's systemic, some of it's politicians, it's self-induced because we have such a gross culture. You have rappers that, oh, Kanye West is such a bad guy because he told people to think for themselves. Meanwhile, they're rapping about killing people, and then people are killing people. I wonder why. It's because you guys rap about it all the time, and you guys won't allow people to leave that enslaved mindset. And yes, I said enslaved because you are enslaving people's minds. God forbid you're a black kid or a white kid or a Latino kid who thinks a certain way. They guilt you. If you're a white person or a white kid that has a healthy mindset and you love everybody and you love everybody regardless of their race, religion, and gender, and you want more freedom and you see the world as it is, they guilt you and call you a bigot. I mean, the people call me a bigot. I'm like, what are you listening to? I've never said anything mean. I've never even said 1/30th of the mean stuff that the people you like said, yet I'm a bigot. If you're black and you think a certain way and you want to, you know, be nice and you want to love people and you want to be like, you know what, I appreciate this and I'm going to make the most of my life, they guilt you and they call you all sorts of negative names and they say, no, come back in my mindset. If you don't want to kill people and you don't want to be poor your whole life and you don't want to have this disgusting toxic mindset, you're a sellout. You know, you're an Uncle Tom. They call you all sorts of terrible names if you're black and you don't play along with their negative mindset. Well, guess what? That's a trap by the politicians. That's not black culture. That's what the white politicians, that's what the white supremacist politicians mind controlled and brainwashed people into thinking, because MLK didn't think like that. Malcolm X didn't think like that. Booker T. Washington didn't think like that. Nat Turner didn't think like that. No one ever thought like that. We've gotten dumber, and it goes for white people too. I mean, read what James Madison and George George Washington said, and then turn on the news and see who's dumber. We've gotten dumber over hundreds of years. They've made us stupider, and they've guilted us into becoming smarter and more successful. And they do it to the Latino community as well. I mean, they tell all Latinos, you're an MS-13 member. It's like, no, I'm not. I know the difference between me, whether I'm illegal or illegal. I know the difference between me and an MS-13 gang member. Unless you are in that gang, then, that's you. That's your life. It's whatever. Still much love to you. I don't know everything in the world about what's going on. I don't have hate in my heart. But it's like the news thinks we're so stupid to think that everything that Trump says is applicable to every single immigrant. He's not talking about all immigrants. He didn't say that. You said that because you want to make us believe that we're that person. And why do they do that? To me, it doesn't even have to do with politics. It doesn't even have to do with racism and activism. It has to do with they are trying to enslave us in this horrid mindset. They want us to be like those people. They want us to act like terrorists. They want us to act like murderers. That's what they like. If we go to work and we love America and we work hard and we believe in the dream, they don't like you. They want you to be knocked down. They want to beat us down into this nasty, negative mindset. So this is the real battle going on. And this is what I say to Democrats and to liberals and to progressives. Regardless of what your policies are, I don't have a problem with the political parties, but this is a far cry from what John F. Kennedy was doing. This modern day mindset is a far cry from what Bill Clinton was doing. Bill Clinton didn't have this type of mindset. Bill Clinton didn't tell all the kids to be complete lunatics and to hate themselves and hate this country. Barack Obama didn't even do this. I mean, you listen to Obama talk, whether you agree with him or disagree with his policies, he wasn't even this extreme. Barack Obama was in office 8 years, and I mean, this doesn't even brush the surface. They've gone so far off the deep end. They've spent so much of their money invested in hating Trump. They've spent so much of their time and money invested in following Hillary Clinton's failed campaign strategy, folks. This was not a successful strategy then. I need to breathe. And it's not a successful strategy now. It didn't work for Hillary Clinton. Regardless of what you think of Trump or Hillary Clinton spent $1.2 billion. She spent more money than Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump combined and all of the other candidates. And she lost. She lost because this is a failing mindset. This is a failing strategy. It didn't work then. Why are you trying to force it now? It was all just a ruse, okay? It wasn't real feminism. It wasn't real activism. It wasn't real racial activism and equality. It was fake, and everyone knew it was fake. That's why Donald Trump won. I mean, the news had so much bad press about him. Anybody probably could have beat him. John Kasich probably could have beat him. One of the goofy Kennedy kids could have beaten him. I mean, anyone could have beaten him except for her because her campaign was terrible. Her strategy was terrible, so they lost the election. Where's your apology if you think Trump's so bad? It's your fault that he won because you did such a terrible strategy. So instead of shifting their mindset, they just keep getting more and more extreme, further and further left, further and further off the deep end, and they keep just blaming everybody else. So their mindset is disgusting, and they're chasing good people away. They're chasing spiritual people away. They're chasing healthy people away. They're chasing happy people away. They're chasing working class people away. They're now chasing the black community away. They're now chasing the Latino community away. They're now chasing the white community away, the Asians, the Indians. I mean, I don't know who's their target market. It's like, I'm not even trying to exaggerate. It's like, it seems like their target market is gangs, and no disrespect, I mean, do what you have to do, but gangs, terrorists, criminals, unhealthy people who are negative and hate this country and hate themselves, like that's their target market. And there's not that many people like that. Yes, depression is on the rise because, technology is throwing us in for a loop and we're pushing all these prescription pills at people, and we have such a bad culture that, our culture is declining in a way that, yeah, depression's on the rise because you have no love for your family, you have no love for this country, you have no love for a higher power or a belief of some sort of hopefulness and happiness, even if you're atheist. All of these positive things that used to be like really good in our culture, family and, identity and stuff, they're stripping that from us. Of course people are more depressed, but there's so many people that don't feel that way. That's why Trump won, regardless of what you want to say about his policies. that's why more and more people, even left-leaning people, are abandoning this weirdo mindset. So it's like, I don't even see politics. I have like X-ray vision. I see through the Republicans. I see through the conservatives. I see through the liberals. I see through the Democrats. And what I'm finding is that there's a huge mindset battle going on. There's a healthy mindset of people who love themselves and love this country and love the world and love all people regardless of their ethnicity or their religion, if they're good people, if they're people who want to follow the law, and if they're people who want to not terrorize our communities. I mean, who's terrorizing our communities? We are. We're terrorizing our communities. It's not like we don't really have outsider terrorists coming in from other countries, luckily, like other people do. Not yet. We probably will at this rate, but we ourselves are terrorizing our own communities. We ourselves are killing our own people. We ourselves are making it miserable for us to succeed and walk around. Like, you don't have to have a good job to be happy. You don't have to work, make millions of dollars to just make life a little bit easier. There's millionaires who aren't happy. There's people with no money who are happy. Our culture is negative. Our culture is toxic. We have no respect. We have no common sense. And that is the mindset battle going on. Beyond the Democrat and Republican, you have one side, and this side now includes the Democratic Party completely. It includes the mainstream media. It includes the celebrity elite class. It includes the late night hosts. It includes the activists and the racial activists and the feminists, not the real ones, but the fake ones. They hate this country. They have no gratefulness. They have no appreciation. They have no accountability. They have no regards for the truth, even if it doesn't fall their way. They have no regards for unity. They have no regards for appreciation for all of the things they do have. They have no regards for spirituality. They have no regards for morals. And then you have this rising group of people who support Trump, and not everybody. There's some people who support him who fall into that category, the mindset category, but there's a lot of people who support the president who might be religious, maybe they're Christian, maybe they're Jewish, maybe they're good Muslim people, maybe they're atheist, maybe they're libertarian, maybe they're conservative, maybe they used to be liberal and don't consider themselves that anymore, maybe they're progressive, but there's a rising group of people who love themselves, or at least love this country and love the world and love people and, want to do something, and they want to be appreciative, and they're grateful, and they want to protect their culture. It doesn't make you a nationalist or a white nationalist, because you want to protect God, and you want to protect your family, and you want to protect your rights, and you want to protect your freedoms, and you want to protect the Constitution from these insane lunatic extremists who want to take everything away. I mean, that's the real battle going on. You have like hate versus love, but the haters act like they're the lovers, and they hate the lovers. It's like, it's so backwards. It's like everything is so skewed, and Twitter's complacent, Facebook's complacent, Google's complacent. They're so complacent that they kicked me off YouTube revenue, because I'm telling this to people, because I want people to be happy, and I want people to be successful, and I want to tell people, hey, guess what? There are some external forces that you can't control, but there's so much power in yourself, in your internal forces. They won't tell you this in school. They won't tell you this on the news, because they don't want you to know how powerful you are. Because then you might be happy, then you might be successful, then you might love and appreciate your neighbors and love your family and love this country, and then you'll never vote Democrat, and you'll never vote for these phony politicians, even if they're Republican. I don't care. I'm just saying, this is how I see it now. In 5 years, I'm sure it could shift if people don't pay attention, because if you have no common sense and you have no self-accountability, you're going to end up being that person. That's what happened to the liberal side. They got so used to hating Trump and hating conservatives and hating Christians and hating people based on their race, they are everything that they're trying to stop. It's like the world that they're trying to stop only exists in their head, and they're trying to spread their mental illness. And I don't mean like mental illness that you can't control. It's like self-induced toxic mindset. They're trying to spread that to the rest of the world. And God forbid you don't have that. They just attack you. I mean, they are everything that they're trying to stop. So beyond politics, and this is really my goal, I'm sorry, full screen and YouTube, that all of this truth and all of this wisdom and knowledge and appreciation and common sense and gratefulness and spirituality and love for the world and love for my Muslim brothers and sisters, and love for my Hindu brothers and sisters, and love for my Christian brothers and sisters, and love for my Jewish brothers and sisters, and love for everybody. I'm sorry that this offends you so much that you have to kick me off your ad platform, and I can't make money, but all the phonies who are killing everybody can make money. Anyway, I'm sorry that that's so terrible to you, but there is, beyond this political realm that I don't even really care about, I don't care about politics, there's a spiritual and a mindset battle going on between a good mindset that leads to freedom, a good mindset that leads to victory and leads to peace and leads to love and leads to equality and leads to a culture where you can walk the streets and you don't feel threatened by everybody. You can walk the streets and you can love your barista and you can love your neighbor and you can love the people that you see on the street. There's that mindset versus this toxic, negative, nasty mindset, and they're hiding this mindset behind activism. They're hiding this mindset behind liberalism. It's not real liberalism. It's not real leftism. It's not real activism. They're hiding behind this stuff, just like they hide behind women and children, because when their point doesn't make sense, they gotta shield themselves with women and children, either physically on the battlefront getting their kids killed, or, you know, mentally and psychologically, like, oh, how can you disagree with a woman and a child? Like, they do that, but their mindset is toxic. It's negative. It leads to a culture of a bunch of people who have no self-accountability, no self-responsibility, and it's never going to work out. So I pray that they consider what I'm saying and just think about it. I'm not saying that we can't I'm not saying that we can't march in the streets. I'm not saying that we can't face the inequalities, but if you face it with the mindset that they currently have, you're going to destroy the community that you're trying to save. You're going to destroy the country that you're trying to save. You can't give somebody something if they don't have it internally. For an example, you can cry all that you want. Anomaly, I don't have a car. I need a car. I need a car. I need a car. If I give you a car, it doesn't matter if you don't know how to drive it. I could give you $1 million, but it's not going to matter if you don't have self-accountability, self-responsibility, self-awareness, and common sense. It doesn't matter. I could give you the car, but you might not be able to drive it. I could give you the car, and you might drive it the wrong way. So it doesn't matter. They hide all of this stuff and masquerade all of this stuff behind social programs and social justice, but it doesn't matter until our culture changes and our mindset's changing. And the modern day people who think that they're the best activists and that they're the biggest heroes and that everybody else is terrible because they love themselves and they love this country, they're actually spreading a negative mindset that will never work. It doesn't matter how much money people get. It doesn't matter how much social programs people get. And I'm not saying to not give people money and give people social programs. I think we should have social programs, and I think we should have money. I'm not arguing politics right now. I'm just talking mindset. If you spread this negative mindset onto people, it doesn't matter how much stuff you give them. They'll never be able to utilize it if they don't have self-accountability and self-responsibility and self-awareness and common sense. So at the bottom of this political battle, there is a mindset and a spiritual battle going on. And the people who are the loudest and the meanest and the angriest and the most hateful towards the president and me and left-leaning people who don't agree with them and right-leaning people who don't agree with them, and they hate black people and they hate Latino people and they hate white people who don't agree with them, I wish and I pray that for just one day, maybe it's now, maybe it's in a year, maybe they have to lose more elections, but just think about what you're doing. Think about the mindset. Think about our culture. We control our culture. There are cultures out there that have they have less money than us, but they're way happier because they have a good mindset and they have a better culture, okay? There's a bunch of people out there who are way meaner than we are. There's a bunch of countries, like I said, that are so poor and they're escaping persecution and they're escaping extremists that they come to America to live in our jails. They pay to live in our jails. That's how great that this country is on a worldwide scale. And if you could speak to your ancestors from 100 and 200 years ago, they would slap you in the face for your fake and phony activism that's destroying our culture. That's destroying our youth. And that's destroying our minds. So beyond the politics, okay? Beyond all of the negativity and beyond the Trumpisms, okay? There is a mindset battle, and just please be aware of the mindset that you're spreading to people, because no matter how much money you make or how many, news outlets give you the Pulitzer Prize or whatever, we are influencing the people. If you're an artist or anything, think about the mindset that you're spreading onto the world, because knowledge is power and wisdom is power. If we can spread a good mindset, the politicians will follow. But no matter who you point the finger at, whether it's Democrats or Republicans, Trump or Hillary Clinton, nothing's going to change. The world is not going to change unless we change ourselves. Because everybody, if we get rid of these politicians, and we're horrible people too, and all of the people that we've been supporting are criminals and terrorists and not good people mentally, then it's never going to change. Change isn't just good. Everybody wants to change the world, but they don't realize they might be changing it for the worst. So when change happens and it's bad, you pray for the days when there was no change. So, everyone wants to change everything, but they don't realize it can backfire unless we're paying attention. And this goes for everybody. I don't care if you're liberal or Republican or conservative, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Be self-aware and always be ready to evolve. Because if you spend too much time pointing the finger and arguing on Facebook and Twitter, things are going to evolve and things are going to change, and you're eventually going to be wrong too. Even if you're right today, you're going to be wrong in a month or in a year if you don't constantly evaluate yourself just as much, if not more. It has to be more than you do other people. And if we all had this type of self-awareness and self-accountability and responsibility, the world would be a better place. We'd be able to solve conflicts quicker. And that is the mindset battle going on. I hope you appreciated this talk. I'm out of breath and very thirsty. I appreciate your time. I'm going to post my links below. Sign up to my free email list if you haven't already. And also, I'm going to post my donor link. It's like Patreon. Everyone always asks if I have a Patreon. I do. My Patreon is patreon.com/raretalk. Patreon.com/raretalk. But also, I like DonorBox. I'm going to put the link below as always. DonorBox is easier, and I like it because you can do a one-time donation. So if you just want to do it once or like twice a year or something, that's fine. Or never, that's fine too. This is just a suggestion. It's not... I appreciate your presence. I appreciate your likes. I appreciate your shares, and I appreciate your energy. Some people say, anomaly, I don't have money right now. That's fine. I'm not saying I need it or you have to do it. It's just I do it so when people like YouTube block me from making money that I don't go broke and, I'm not able to make videos anymore. But DonorBox, you can do it one time or you could do it monthly like Patreon. That's why I like it better, because it gives you that option. You can do monthly or you can do a one time. So thank you to people who support like that. Thank you to people who support in other ways, and thank you to everybody who listens. I got to go to Arizona yesterday, and I got to meet so many amazing people right by the border, beautiful people, amazing people, and it's so special when I get to meet you guys in person and just see, how similar we are in the lives that we live and the problems that we feel that are the same. And I'm just so blessed that, I put out this type of energy into the world, or I try to. I make my best effort. And the universe, the world, always rewards me with amazing people. So thank you guys so much. Just to wrap it up, like I was saying, the law of attraction, I believe is very real, regardless of how you word it or whatever. It's like you get what you put out a lot of times. So if you put out bad energy, like the news wants you to do, and you put out all this negative energy and bad things happen, it's not always because the world's bad. It's not always because America's bad. Sometimes it might be. But if you do that, you're always going to get the bad. And that's the mindset that they put out. And if they gave the mindset like I did, if I owned Fox News and I owned CNN and I controlled all the news stations and my energy went out, I would change the world in a year, way more than they have for the better, because people would realize this. They'd put out good energy, they'd put out good vibes, and we'd clean up our communities. We'd attract these type of peoples, and the world would be a better place. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. My links will be below. Have a good week. I'll be back soon.